A disaster, such as a hurricane or a cyclone, strikes, and in the days and weeks that follow, response agencies scramble to provide funds and post-disaster relief. This has long been the status quo of disaster response, and it's what so many of us in SHEAR and in the wider disaster risk reduction and scientific communities have been trying to improve. My research explores disaster risk financing, DRF, which refers to a set of policy mechanisms developed to try to improve this fragmented, begging bowl approach to disaster response. Broadly defined, DRF enables response agencies to respond earlier to disasters based on a way of measuring disaster risk, combined with a pre-arranged finance and plans and a mechanism to trigger response, which is designed to overcome the inertia that is seen as one of the drivers of slow and fragmented responses in the past. What these mechanisms have in common is taking a measure of risk, whether that is a forecast or a proxy measurement for a hazard such as a recorded wind speed, and linking that to a trigger which enacts response. Why is this so important? Well, system-wide, humanitarian funding is struggling to keep up with rising humanitarian needs. Proponents argue that DRF is one way to square the circle of shortfalls in humanitarian financing. DRF-based mechanisms, accordingly, have been gaining traction among key donors and agencies, and a high-level event led by the UN and the governments of Germany and the United Kingdom last year in September saw some of the key donors and agencies significantly scale up their commitments for more pre-agreed and anticipatory disaster response. Critically, however, because these mechanisms are designed to enact a response based on measures of risk rather than existing humanitarian need, they pose a challenge for policymakers and practitioners because of the potential for acting erroneously or for missing an event. DRF, therefore, opens up really important questions about decision-making, mandates, and liability, and that is the primary contribution of my research. DRF is a new and really rapidly evolving policy landscape, and there's relatively little agreement about common terminologies or even the definition for this set of approaches. In fact, the way I define DRF in this research might be different from many practitioners. But what my research shows is that understanding DRF mechanisms as different tools within a shared policy landscape is really important for understanding this policy shift towards responding based on disaster risk rather than existing need. My PhD research explores how practitioners understand and manage questions of risk, uncertainty, and liability. And this goes beyond getting the right information to the right people in the right way, but is about asking deeper questions about how we decide what the right information is, understanding what the implications are of making decisions based on that information, and drawing attention to the fact that concerns about the implications of such decisions are shaping these mechanisms in important ways.